A former military vet who cracked the code on investing, she's here to share the strategies, the wins, and the losses that can help you do the same. So if you've ever thought about using your VA loan or using real estate as a path to financial freedom, this is the episode for you. Let's get into it. As always, I am here with the man, Boomer Bill, here to teach you guys about loans and how they work, and our special guest for the day, the one, the only, Miss Felicia Rexford.
So nice. What an intro. I can't even.
Yeah, I think that was a good intro.
That was
right?
a great intro. Thank you. I'll pay you later.
On the low, Den Moselle, Brandon from Vegas. So Felicia, please tell us your story. Just a quick synopsis of who you are, how long you've been in real estate.
Yeah.
Start with your military background for a lot of the vets who watch us, and just take us from there.
Okay, so the quick synopsis is I did grow up in a travel trailer parked on the sides of people's homes. Didn't even own a home with my parents. My dad was a handyman. Parked in people's backyards while he was like working on their houses, so our living quarters always kind of adjusted. Then we upgraded to a mobile home, and we lived in a mobile home park for a long time, which I've recently visited that spot that I grew up in, which was really cool. And like I always want to say to everybody, that's no shame on my family, my parents, because they've got their own kind of up and coming stories of their own. So I love that. But really just didn't have much. And I think that that's why I'm able to relate with so many people out there, because not everybody was handed the trust fund baby moment, right? And so not given much. Went to high school, tried to put myself through college, waitress at TGI Fridays as a waitress. Really loved that job, by the way. Had a great time.
You're probably good at it.
I had a great time, but quickly realized I was waitressing and getting my tips to pay off my college credit card, and what was I really doing at college, and all of this just crazy stuff. Didn't have medical, didn't have dental, didn't have money in the bank account, and really just knew I needed to make a quick shift in life. Like, what could I do? And honestly, like so many Americans out there, the military was a quick resource for me. It was a quick I can up and leave and learn a job and build a resume and have medical and have dental and see what's out there, right? So the Air Force was that for me. And it was such a hard moment. And this is why I'm so near and dear to Operation Inbound Airman, because I was Operation Inbound Airman. I was that young person that landed in Las Vegas on my first set of orders with nothing. Like these young adults, not everybody gets dropped off at college with that pretty bedroom moment and the parents taking pictures. Like, no, there's a lot of young people out there that don't have anything. And the military is that, let's see what we can do with our life.
For people
moment.
unfamiliar, what is Operation Inbound Airman, you said?
Yeah, it's brand new. Okay. So it is, that I have my nonprofit Women Moving Mountains, which is encouraging and supporting women in the entrepreneurial space, mommyhood, all that good stuff. Operation Inbound Airman is, for example, we have Nellis Air Force Base, Creech Air Force Base here in Las Vegas, right? A lot of these people come from basic training. They're 17, 18, 19 years old, and they are landing in a dorm room, and they've got nothing. I'm talking like nothing. And let's also think about the paycheck that military gets paid as an E2 and an E3. I found my old pay stubs. I don't even know how we survived. But they don't have anything. So Operation Inbound Airman it's a laundry basket, because you need one of those and you don't have one. So it's a laundry basket full of some dorm snacks, some cup of noodle moments, some blankets, some books, some journals, hey, I know this is scary. You just landed in this city and you don't know anybody, but I promise you Las Vegas is going to rally around you. The people of America are going to rally around you. And again, this is an Amazon link that people can send me stuff. And my assistant, Nikki, and I put these baskets together and we deliver them to the airmen on base.
That's awesome.
I was that person at that base.
And you were happy to get that.
Oh, there's only so much chow hall food that you can eat, dear Lord. Like, thank you so much for the chow hall food. I love it, but there's just and you don't have a vehicle. And to walk to chow, sometimes is in the rain, and you look outside and you're like, oh, I don't want to do that. A couple noodles on a rainy day in your dorm room that you're not working, it's like magic.
Hits like crack, right?
Like magic.
So something you said earlier that I wanted to talk about. What was that moment like when you realized you were successful and you went back to the origin story? When you went back to that park, what did that feel like? What was going through your head at that moment?
It was super emotional because, I'm not making up these stories. Our backyard, one of my youngest, I have two younger brothers. my brother right underneath me, Brody, we would play with boxes. Like so many people, we would play with boxes, and they were our spaceships, and we would color buttons and draw squares and buttons, and we'd sit in our boxes, and we would, and that's really cute right now, thinking back, like that's such a cute story. And I'm like, oh shit, we were fucking broke. Like,
we didn't have any money.
We didn't have any money. So boxes were what we had, and we would then flatten the boxes and we'd ride them down hills, and like, those were the moments where it was kind of those epiphanies. You turn around and you're like, wow, we really didn't have much.
Yeah.
We really didn't have much.
The floor was lava, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The floor was always lava. That was the best way to get to the spaceship.
Isn't it crazy, though, that like looking back, those are some of the fondest memories that you have, right?
Some of the best memories with my brother, because now he's a very successful man himself, and I'm successful in what we do. And you see each other at the Thanksgivings and the Christmas. But man, those spaceship box moments were awesome.
Yeah, you never forget those moments.
No.
So you get out of the military, and is it straight into, I got to use this for real estate, or was there a moment of like
there was a
realization?
bridge. No, there was definitely a bridge there. So my bridge was, and shout out to the Air Force. I loved everything that it gave me. It gave me so much. It gave me humility. It gave me understanding of how honored I am to be a woman in this country. I went to Iraq. I spent time in Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom. I was a part of a lot of life saved and a lot of lives taken. And it was a whole chapter of my life that I liked. Hats off to everybody out there doing that. It changed me for my whole life. So that definitely was a life-changing moment. I did not leave the Air Force because I wanted to necessarily. My husband and I were in an IVF journey of 4 years, and we were about $36,000 in debt trying to get pregnant. We had been together for our whole life, safe, forever. And like, we're safe. And then we're like, we want to have a baby. And then it doesn't happen. It doesn't just naturally happen for some people, and didn't happen for us. And so we were $36,000 in debt, and I was being offered a job. I was an instructor sensor operator with the MQ-9 aircraft up at Creech Air Force Base. And I was being offered a job doing the exact same thing the next, month, let's call it, in civilian clothes, but making about $130,000 a year. And I hate to say that it was for money, but it was definitely to expand my family. It was the money that I needed to pay for IVF. And so I took that punch card, and I hung up my flight suit, and I put on a civilian suit, and I came back to the same building, teaching the same thing with, launching, landing aircraft, employing missiles, that kind of thing. And that also changed my life, because it gave me the funds that I needed for my first kind of baby steps into real estate.
Okay. And what was it? Was it owning your own home, or did you jump straight into the investment category?
So I just recapped this with Nick the other day. When I bought my first house, and this is to all of my military out there that have the magic freaking golden egg of your VA loan. You have the best out there. And my first home was not with my VA loan. You know why? Because nobody effing told me about it. I'm such an idiot.
I can't believe that.
I look back and I'm like the person that like stands on stages with microphones in my hand, right? Nobody guided me to use my VA loan.
So when you were in and we've heard this from other military veterans that we've spoken to, is that it almost feels like there's not as much education on the VA loan when you're there as it should be.
I don't think there is, and I will say that the military has come a long way from when I was in, and now we have things like your podcast and social media and Instagrams, and Felicia screaming at you on her stories and things like that are saying to use it. So we're in a different day and age. The education is like a YouTube away, right? So self-educate, please. But if you are in the military, if you're active duty, if you're a guard or reservist, you have your VA loan. And yes, you can use it again and again and again. And yes, you can use it more than once. You can have multiple VA loans out. It's okay. Go to his YouTube for all the things. So, but I bought my first house without my VA loan.
When did you buy your first one?
80-20 loan. I was 24. When I bought my first home,
Good
right
on
on
you.
Dapplegrade, Northwest Centennial Hills area. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, rented out every single bedroom. That's called a house hack. Also on really cool YouTubes.
Where did you rent it out at? What was the people you knew, other veterans?
All Air Force, all Air Force. And so that is one of the biggest things you can do too. You could buy, a lot of people, they handcuff themselves with their VA loan. They go, well, my BAH is $2,300 a month, so that's where I want to stick around. Bro, think bigger, or girl. Think bigger. Think bigger. Even if you have to bite off the $3,000 a month mortgage, $2,300 of that in BAH is being offset because BAH is free money. The government is handing you BAH. So pay the $2,300 towards your mortgage and then rent out the other 2 bedrooms for $900 a pop. Boom.
And if they're in the military, those people are also getting the BAH.
BAH. So that's a deal. That's a deal.
Yeah.
Think bigger. That's now they have a term for it, and it's called house hacking. At the time, it was called Felicia came from a trailer park and was cheap as everything and rented. I rented out both my bedrooms back then for like $500 a piece, and I rented out my damn couch, $200. I'll give you my couch. You can stay for 2 weeks.
Damn.
Oh, I rented out everything. Nick and I rented every room we owned for the first 7 years of our marriage and the first 2 homes that we owned.
Were you putting up like flyers? How were you finding so many people?
I'm in a squadron with hundreds
though,
of
right?
people. Yeah, and I'm just be like, I got a room for rent. I mean, it's chow hall combo, you know, like it's GCS combo. It's stepping to fly. It's after your brief. You're hanging out with your buddies, you know? So, and I'll tell you what, there's no tighter community. Prove me wrong. There is no tighter community than a military family and a military community. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody's referring everybody. I promise you, you don't land in a city without asking your Air Force family, who do I get my hair cut by? And whatever they say goes.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true. We do every Memorial Day and Veterans Day, we do like big events where we'll like rent out a restaurant and let people come eat for free, right?
It's amazing. Yeah.
And watching strangers who don't know each other sit there and have a meal with each other for like an hour, and it's just like there's this connection, this instantaneous, oh, we've shared the same memories, we've shared the same ideas, let's talk about it. And then exactly what you're saying. It's like an instantaneous family environment. It's so warm to watch.
It's all the time. And again, like you said, I can go anywhere in the world at this point and say I served in the Air Force. And even if that person hasn't, my dad served in the Air Force. And there's like this melting pot of like a human moment where you're just like, I get you. I love you. I don't know you, but I love you.
Well, you know, Grace is in Hawaii in
Yes,
the Navy.
Navy,
boot
baby.
camp, and they have totally embraced her. They all love her, and she loves it.
Yeah.
So it's been such a great thing for her.
Yeah.
So your house hacking was like your first big real estate aha moment, right? Is that something that you picked up on your own?
Yes.
Was it advice somebody had given you?
No, it was honestly Nick and I just needing to offset bills. And so like a conversation, right? Are you okay with renting so-and-so needs a room? Yeah, $500. Okay, we'll do that. Oh, then another person heard about it. So-and-so needs a room. We have the other room. Do you want to rent it out? Or is this okay in our marriage, you know? And yeah, we'll do that. And then you just realize you're not paying your own mortgage and that you're saving money. And I'm like, wow, literally the term house hacking came around from Bigger Pockets, the biggest real estate podcast in the world still. I believe they hold that title, you know? And they started like throwing out this coin. I'm like, man, bro, I was doing that before you were ever even a podcast, you know? But it really significantly helped. Then I went and bought a really big house, like a 4,500 square foot house that had 5 bedrooms, and literally looked at it like cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. I am not lying. And I'm like, oh, that's a downstairs master. That one's money, baby.
That's a lot
So
of money
what did
for
you
that
do
one.
with the original home that you purchased?
Held it
and just turned that into a full-time rental?
Full-time rental. And here's a really cool little moment, because I bought that house, Dapple Gray, 6547 North Dapple Gray Road, Las Vegas, Nevada. I bought that house at the peak of the market. I'm talking like 2 weeks.
This
If
was
you start,
90
it was like 2007, right?
Yep.
As soon as you start to watch, I bought that house. If people are always scared of like the market's gonna crash, bro, I did it. I bought it. I held. That's all you gotta do in real estate. If you ever want to survive anything, hold it. Show me a house that hasn't made up for itself over time. I held it. I rented it long term. I bought it for somebody's gonna go, she's a liar. I think it was 303 and some change. And at one point it was worth $165,000 when everybody was short selling their home and being like, oh, I'm upside down. Oh, I'm upside down. You know, one piece of advice that stuck with me, that was my dad. And it was truly my dad in my head and my ear. And he said, when you sign your name on a document, you better damn stand by that. Yeah. And I was thinking of my mortgage, and I was like, because this was the question. Now, did people short sell and walk that couldn't afford their mortgages? The answer is yes. Could I afford that mortgage?
Could you afford the mortgage? Yeah.
Yes, I could. I was not one of those people, and I didn't punch because every single person around me was punching. I heard my dad, you sign your name on a contract. If you're good for it, you stick it out. We stuck it out. We rented that thing for 12 years. What happened to the market? We came back from the biggest real estate crash in documented history.
Yeah.
And I still sold that house and made $60K.
Bam.
I remember when you sold that.
know.
You were kind of fixing it
I know.
up.
You and I were doing the American
resell.
Dream, baby,
Yeah,
and we
that's
had
right.
just and
Yeah.
I just flipped it, and then
That
I
was
sold
amazing.
it to an airman off market using his VA loan, and even gave him closing cost assistance. Win-win.
What was it your dad's advice that gave you the confidence to hold? Because I always look back at people who, tell me they sold during the crash, and I'm like, well, why? You
Yeah.
could afford the mortgage.
Yeah.
And they're like, we were just so scared. We were so afraid.
Yes. And we definitely had scary moments, and we were seeking advice from our parents. And again, nothing against our parents, but they were not real estate investors.
They were not real estate
and
investors.
nobody really was. Nick and I charted territory that was uncharted. Now there's just so much information. So now my perspective looking back is so clear.
Yeah.
It wasn't at the time. It was scary. It was uncharted, and everybody told us we were stupid.
Yeah.
But we could afford the mortgage. It was being significantly offset with rent. And we just held it. We didn't feel morally correct. And there was a little ego there too. We had worked so
Yeah.
hard as kids building our credit. And I'm like, why am I going to throw that away when I can afford this?
You know who you sound like is Warren Buffett.
Oh, wow. Okay, tell me more.
There we
Just
go.
kidding.
Warren Buffett, again, people who grow up without having a bunch of money or even a dearth of it have a different mentality when it comes to it, because there's this ego of like, hey, I worked too hard to get this thing. And so Warren Buffett's great investment strategy is always buying when other people tell him it's time to
Yes.
sell. That's always been his strategy,
Yeah.
right? And you kind of followed the same thing. Other people are telling you to freak out, sell, and you're like, no, I worked too damn hard to get this house to sell it for nothing now.
And I could afford it.
And you could afford it.
Yep.
And you could afford it.
Yeah, and you know what happened to what the golden egg moment was there was that if we would have short sold, I wasn't the Felicia yet that I needed to be when we started actually buying more real estate.
Yeah.
If I would have short sold that and I would have tanked my credit, when the next opportunity came that I didn't know about, would I have been able to pounce?
Yes.
No, I would not have, right?
Yes.
The door opened and I would not have been able to walk through if I had punched during the short sell psycho moment.
100%.
So would you say the single biggest mistake that new investors make is being afraid early?
Absolutely. And there's been a couple purchases that I've made in the past few years that I've actually, people have asked to invest with me. And there's been a couple moments where I'm like, what do you think about this one? But going into it, I'm like, this is a 5-year hold.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk about issues. I don't want to talk about anything going wrong with the property. Minimum 5-year hold. Why? Because you have to get through those like, all the AC's broke. We don't have one unit. Yeah, it's not freaking fun, bro.
Yeah.
It's not fun. It's like learning to run a marathon mile 2. You know, it sucks, but over time, you'll be better. It will be fine.
When did you first start purchasing Airbnb? So you have this first rental, you've got it all rented out, and you're like, oh my God, okay, we can really do this.
Yeah.
Then you buy the 4,500 square foot property, and
Yeah.
you're going, cha-ching.
Yeah.
I see money everywhere.
Yeah.
When did you go, oh shit,
Airbnb's a thing.
This Airbnb's a thing. I already know people are willing to rent rooms because
Yeah.
I've been doing it since
Yeah.
2007.
Yeah.
When did that first hit for you?
That's an exciting one too. So there's a gap again between the big house and Airbnb. We started buying a house a year at the bottom of the market when homes that were 3-bedroom, 2 baths were $70,000, $80,000.
Yeah.
So we started to buy, which took every penny that we own. You know what I mean? So, and again, everybody told us not to. Everybody told us. Last year, I sold the one that I bought for $80,000 for $400,000, and I did a 1031 exchange into a property for my in-laws. So, anyways, hold and
Hold.
buy and hold and buy and hold and buy, and when everybody tells you not to buy, buy.
Yeah.
What's going on?
It's 2025. Everybody says don't buy, buy.
So everyone right now, a lot of buyers are hesitant because of the Vegas market, because of interest rates.
Talk to me
What
in
do you
2030.
think?
Talk to me in 2030. Talk to me in 2040. You know what I mean? Like, when
It's
has
long
there
term.
been a moment where you can look back at history and say that wouldn't have been smart to buy then? I just told everybody the story of buying at the top of the market and riding out the real estate crash and making money. There is not a time that you can tell me. Now, do we have to get more creative? Do we have to learn about rates? buying down interest rates? Do we have to think a little bit? Do we have to maybe minimize the wants that we want in life when we can't afford necessarily the 4,500 square foot home anymore? Yes, but I still think that there is an opportunity to buy with almost everybody. It's a very rare moment where I'm like, ooh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
when you guys were buying up properties, now again, you were at a special time where, the prices, as you stated, were $70,000, $80,000. You were the people when everyone else was telling to run away, you were running into it. You were chasing, as Bill likes to say, you ran into the storm instead of trying to run away from it. You're the buffalo, right? She does not look like a buffalo, everybody. It's a metaphor, okay? There's always some rude dude on YouTube who's like, you called that woman a buffalo. We are not calling her buffalo.
I am laughing.
It's a metaphor, right? What was the moment? Did you have a strategy of like, oh, we're going to buy specifically in these areas? Or were you just getting anything that you could get your hands on?
Yeah. So I went to work because I was a civilian at Creech, and a girlfriend, it was a coworker of mine. She was talking openly in the common space about short selling her home. I had been to her home. It was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath on Portland Court here in North Las Vegas. And it's funny that I remember all these street names because they were moments, they were chapters of my whole life, So I came home and she was selling. I said, how much are you selling that for? And I knew everything she had put into it already. I'd partied over there, and she said 70,000. And I'm like, excuse me?
Hello?
Like, yeah. But again, guys, houses, I could have picked 100. Nobody was buying houses.
Yeah.
So don't look at me like I was a genius, because in the moment, everybody told us not to buy $70,000 homes.
You were the strongest zebra.
I wish I had the balls of a buffalo and was able to go literally, baby, and tell more people, Bill, give me your money that you have. I'm going to go buy houses. We're going to be rich together. I wish I had the balls to go to every family member I knew and been like, trust me, let's do this, because I didn't have the money. And that was my handcuffing moment. I could only buy one a year.
Yeah.
We would have all, if I would have been able to have the confidence to actually go and say, hey, anything that you want, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
But I didn't, because I didn't have the knowledge. We didn't have the perspective, and everybody was in fear mode.
Yeah. But when there's flood the water, that's the old. We're big on animal analogies here. That's kind of our bit, right?
Yeah.
And one of the big analogies that I give to our live audience is like, okay, so you're in the Serengeti, right? And you have the herd of zebras, and like 90% of the zebras all eat the same grass because they're so afraid of the lions that they'd rather just eat the same grass that all the other zebras are having. But there's always a couple big, strong zebras. So you're like, you know what? I want the good grass over there, and I'm not afraid of the lions, right? And that's what you did.
Yeah.
The whole world, everybody. I mean, the courage that you guys understand.
Yeah.
Looking back in 2025, it's easy to look back at 2008 and be like, you're so stupid, just buy.
Yeah.
But when the whole world is collapsing and the news is telling you that, oh my God, we're going back to the Stone Age, it takes a lot of fucking courage to be you, right? And do you feel like your military training helped you develop that courage?
I think my poor mentality did. Like literally this is true. This is true. You know why? I am going to survive.
Yeah.
I am going to survive and I am going to be okay. Even if this is a wrong move, we are going to be okay. That's why the question people ask me all the time, like if you took away, and I tell people all the time too, call it egotistical or not, take everything away from me. I will come back. Don't worry about me.
Yeah.
You know?
So let's say, and I love you say poor people mentality. Yeah. One of our biggest phrases is that poverty is a superpower. Because once you escape it, you realize you have the strength to overcome anything. Let's say for some reason, everything fell apart and you had to start over, right? What's the first thing that you would do?
I would do exactly what I'm doing right now. I would continue to put myself in big rooms with more people, handshake, build relationships, and I would outwork everybody. Yeah. Try to outwork me.
So networking and just work
relationships and work ethic. Being willing to put in the work. You know why? Because everybody's lazy as hell right now. There's so much meat on the bone to eat if you're willing to go out there and get it. Like I surround myself with realtors. You and we both work in the same grass field, to use your analogy, right? 100%. Baby, is there not plenty of grass for you and me?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
When I first got into real estate, everybody's telling me, Brandon, there's 16,000 agents in Las Vegas. How are you going to find clients? And I said, because most of these people suck and they're lazy, right?
Yes.
And I was right.
Yes.
You found yourself a space that's your niche, that's your space that you know, right?
And that I love.
and that you love. I found a space that I looked up and I said, wait a minute, why is no one trying to sell these houses on TikTok? Right?
Yes.
And I looked up and I said, okay, I guess I'll jump into this space since nobody else wants to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's so much meat, but it's the 80-20 rule. 80% of these people are lazy as hell, and no one believes you until you see it firsthand.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, you may not know Felicia because a lot of you aren't in the real estate industry. I showed 3 clients in February. They were all looking in Aliante, Sky Canyon. Her name is on everything up there, you guys. Like
She owns it.
you guys have no idea. Like this, like if you're looking at houses in anywhere north central Vegas, this woman's name is on everything up there. Like she's working as hard as she's telling you she is, right? The evidence that supports you is there. And I think that is one of the big reasons why I was like, but we got to get her on the show. Every house 100%. I'm showing is yours. Your team is kicking ass, right? When did you realize, what was the moment that you were like, I'm so busy, I need a team to help push all this?
Really fast. And so I also will always back a lot of this. I don't know about people's religion or anything like that, but God is good in my life. And so if I am willing to put in the work, those doors open and I'm just not fearful, I walk through. Like we're going to figure this out as we walk through, right? So I walked away as a young woman from a 6-figure career because remember then I got that humongous pay raise.
Humongous, you guys.
I mean, to me, is that a word?
No, that is humongous.
Humongous. So $130,000 when I was a young girl, right? And again, trailer park and consistent paycheck came in every 2 weeks. Yeah. 2 weeks, right? And I had gotten my real estate license, and I was up at Creech Air Force Base. No bullshit. This is no lie. And there are so many of the men that could back me up. I'm like writing grade sheets after flights and stuff like that. I'm then turning over my real estate book and I'm studying for my real estate license. I'm studying for my real estate license. I do not have my license yet, okay? Somebody would come over with their swivelly chair and be like, hey, can you help me buy a house? I'm like, you know me. You know that I don't even have my license yet. I don't even have my license. Yeah. When are you gonna be done? And then we can go look. And I'm like, sure. The first 7 deals of my real estate career, I had to put underneath my broker because I did not have a license. 7 deals. That was my epiphany moment. And the epiphany moment was nobody was cornerstoning VA as a veteran that's going to fight for. Nobody's going to trust anybody like they're going to trust right after you got shot out in Iraq. You know what I mean? 100%. I got you. I don't know everything. We will figure it out. And I got you. And so that was my epiphany moment. Within a year, I walked away from that 6-figure career. Okay. It was a year later, and I went part-time for a little bit. And I bet on myself. And Nick, my husband, major kudos to him because a lot of times I say I walk through the doors. Pretty sure he kicked me in the ass. He was like, you're killing yourself because I was launching, landing, showing real estate mornings, nights, and weekends. And I was killing myself. He goes, tell Robo you're done. And I'm like, shut up. And he's like, Felicia, tell Robo you're done. And I sat there and we really talked about it. And I'm like, you know that the paycheck doesn't come in every 2 weeks. This is a whole new ball game, baby. My last day at Creech Air Force Base, driving home from 95 back to Las Vegas, my phone rang 3 times on my way home. I said, God is good. I'm going to be okay. Yeah.
I can honestly say if someone had offered me $130,000 in my 20s, I'd be dead in the gutter somewhere. Straight up. Right? I would have drank and gambled myself into an early grave. So
you would have partied your way through heaven to heaven.
I had a few drinks, I'm sure.
It would have been the best 7-month run of my life. But I would have... Again, you have a level of, I mean, you're fun to be around too, but you also have this level of like courage and gravitas and like discipline and self-will behind all the, she's super high. You guys, this room right now is so much fun because she's just a fun person, but behind the energy, there's a level of discipline. Is that something that you've always had, or is that something that the military helped bring your way?
It's funny. I didn't realize I had it until, again, perspective, when we start peeling back our own onion layers about ourselves and we start to maybe do a little like deep dive on ourselves. I told Nick, this just came to my brain recently. When I was in high school, I didn't have lunch and I didn't really have money usually. Maybe sometimes my dad or my mom may give me some money, but I really didn't. And I don't even think it was a thought process to them that we were going to school every day without lunch. And again, that's no hit. I'm best friends with my dad, no hit on them. But even at that, hey, this is so funny and crazy to talk about. I would go to school and I'd be like, oh, that cookie looks good, Brandon. Can I have a bite? And just like this with my happy energy, right? Yeah. And you'd be like, yeah, you give me a bite. you didn't know that I was going to go find Bill and be like, Bill, oh man, I didn't have enough for pizza. Can I have a bite of your pizza? And you give me a bite of your pizza. And as God is my witness, I swear on my marriage and my kids' lives, I survived a lot of times eating from like 7 different people, and they didn't know that that was my meal. But I realized that if I came up to them with good energy and high energy, people was like, of course, yeah. Or like, hey, do you have a quarter? You know, this, that, the other. And sometimes I would piecemeal even 50 cents, whatever, to get that $1 pizza. And I didn't even realize what I was doing. I was in survival mode. But I was realizing that if I approached these people with this high energy, like there was no negative back, you know? There was smiles and it was gratitude. Thank you so much. This, that, the other. You know, you're not going to finish that? Dude, you're not going to give me that. Don't waste food.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. I just recently looked back at myself and I was like, holy shit, girl, you've been doing this your whole life.
You've been doing this your whole life, right?
So you have no fear.
No. What are we going to lose? I have one life. I am sliding into home plate dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Maybe they get the title of the episode, Sliding into Home Plate Dirty. Felicia, are you ready to finish us off with some real estate rapid fire?
Let's go.
Bill, are you going to join in on this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we'll do is you first question, and then you jump in with a question for either one of us. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Felicia, ready? Go. Rapid fire.
To you.
Anything.
How are you making your food TikToks transfer to real estate deals?
I put my business cards at every restaurant that goes viral. So when people show up to eat, the first thing they see on the counter is my business card, and then they call me.
Brandon.
All right. Felicia, what was the biggest year of your life from Airbnb? What was the best year? Single best one?
Oh, that was only when I had 3. I only had 3, and it was like 145,000 for those 3 buildings. So it wasn't something major. I'm sure people are like, you know, there's 3 Airbnbs, 145 grand. But ask me about the equity growth in those.
What was the equity growth in those 3
About
Airbnb?
$750,000.
So 145,000 from the
yeah.
and then 700,000 play equity.
Yes.
This woman knows her stuff. Bill?
VA buyers, why would they not buy?
There's no reason to not buy. There really is no reason. Now, what you want in life, the house that you're envisioning versus what you may get, may be a little different. So you need to go stand yourself in front of a mirror and reevaluate that. But there really is no reason to buy. I would really look into renting out your rooms and really look, I'm the worst realtor on the face of the planet. Look into holding those properties as rentals and moving on to the next state and using your VA loan again.
Felicia, rapid fire.
Oh, to you.
Yeah. Anybody, to Bill either.
It's 2025. We're moving into the summer months. Do you enjoy working with buyers or sellers, and which market is it going to be best for?
I think this is going to be a crazy seller's market, but I prefer working with buyers. They are less mean to me on the back end. Felicia, how many times have you been told the real estate market's going to crash over the last 20 years?
Every single year.
Is it going to crash this year?
No, it's not going to crash this year.
Is it going to crash next year?
No, it's not going to crash next year. There's a lot of cash out there. I'm sure when you're watching all of Brandon's videos, he's saying this over and over again. There's cash. People have to be well qualified. It is not fun getting a loan anymore because Bill is going to do his homework. It's not like 2008 when people were being handed loans to buy houses. Yeah. Completely different. Erase that from your memory. Stop being scared.
Bill. I'm going to make a quick. Is it better to buy a new home or an existing home?
Oh.
Right now, new builds are offering stupid incentives that you can take advantage of their fear and capitalize on it. So right now, new build, but resale's coming back. Felicia, what is the coolest thing you've done with your money the second you went from poor to having money?
Oh my God. Gave a lot of money. I give an ample amount of money, and it is the best superpower I feel like I've had. So we earn a lot of money, but you got to give. The world gives back to you.
I have found in my life that nobody gives away more money than people who grew up without having it.
Yeah.
Because we realize how little we need it.
My assistant's here. She gets mad at me. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, we'll earn it back. Don't worry about it.
We'll earn it back with you. Felicia, go.
Damn it. When are you and I going to do a deal together?
Oh, I swear to God, I tried so hard to push in the house.
It's going to happen now, for sure.
It was actually a client that we just closed. He ended up, it was Sunil. He ended up going with a new build because they were giving away some stupid incentive rate, and we got him like $50,000 off. But I swear to God, I'm trying the hardest I can go.
Okay.
Felicia, if you were to travel anywhere in the world that you visited when you were in the military, where would it be?
Germany.
Oh, I have so many follow-up questions. Bill!
Felicia, the boys, how old are they now?
They're 12 and 14. They're on my payroll. I pay them $14,600 a year. They're actually part of my team. If you are out there as a realtor and you have children, you need to be paying them. They need to be on your team, working, learning the game. Does that help?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Felicia, this has been an extraordinary amount of fun. I have like 100 more questions because I like asking things outside of real estate, right?
Yeah.
But your first time on, I think veterans, especially the veterans that watch us, really wanted to see your energy and see how you did this. The next time I have you on, I want to talk about you and your husband and the amount of energy you guys put into all this and how that worked. And there's that to me is the most interesting thing in the whole world. So will you be able to join us again sometime this year?
Thank you.
Yeah?
It's been a minute for this since we've been able to put this together, but this has been really fun. I've been really looking forward to it. Even all my own clients, my own friends, and they'll be like, yeah, Brandon from Vegas eats there. And I'm like, I mean, you're just this, So here I am with Brandon from Vegas.
People like food way more than like houses,
They
and
do.
I don't understand.
It's so fun. I love it because I was with Brandon, and all of a sudden they go, "Oh, Brandon, you're Brandon from Vegas." The post, or basically the postal delivery person. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's Brandon. Brandon.
Yeah. I know. I know.
Yeah, that was
I'm gonna be
awesome.
really important after today.
You are.
Felicia, plug everything for people.
Instagram is a big one for me. Felicia_Rexford. I spell my name a little funny. Falisha. I just got back into YouTube. So if you want to go over and check me out on YouTube, we're doing everything. VA. We're talking with CPAs. We're talking with lenders. We are touring beautiful houses. We're touring small houses. So if you can give me a subscribe there, that would be amazing as well. I'm on Facebook too, and my personal cell phone is splattered on everything. If you're looking at doing real estate, you do get a hold of me. People are like, I didn't think that I'd actually get a hold of you. I'm like, bro, this is me. This is my work. Yeah.
Yes.
So
you guys, the same energy you see on the podcast, she carries with her everywhere. She has found the secret to not making real estate boring. More realtors should copy her because honestly, 99% of them are absolutely tragic to watch, but she is not. Make sure you guys follow and engage with her on all platforms. Bill, tell them where to find you.
BillGaylord.com. Pretty simple.
BillGaylord.com. His name is exactly what it sounds like. You can talk to him about it when you give him a call. As always, I'm Brandon from Vegas. Just throw me into Google and a bunch of videos will pop up. Enjoy the food, but then obviously come contact me for houses. Next week's episode, we are going to talk about my favorite topic, why most of you watching this are going to rent until you die if you don't make a move today.
It's killing her. It's killing her.
It killed us all. Hey, thank you guys for your time. Felicia, as always, thank you for being a guest. And as always, come and be my neighbor. Peace, 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 peace. My YouTube people hate when I do this. My editor hates when I do this. Austin hates when I do this.